Hello, I'm Jason Jarrett, the Love Encore delivery specialist for Dutch Miller Subaru, and I'm back again today with another tech tip for you. A while back, I made a video talking about the iSet switches and kind of giving you an overview of what they can do for you, and I'll make that video appear up above me there. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Now, in the video, I did mention that there was a menu that you could access through those iSet switches, and I was like, if anyone wanted me to dive into the menu, let me know. Well, some YouTube users named Travis and Brandy have taken me up on that offer, and they would like for me to dive into that menu. So today, that's what we're going to do. So let's hop in the car, and I'll show you about that menu. Okay, now before I start, I just want to mention for Travis and Brandy, I know you guys told me you have a 23 Crosstrek. I didn't have any of those just sitting around the lot to use for a video today. Crosstreks are pretty rare to find just sitting around because they're in such high demand. So I'm having to use a pre-owned Subaru Ascent for this video today, but this will apply for your car as well. Now, up in front of me, I need to be on the screen up there that will say pull and hold iSet switch for menu. And you can use these arrow keys to change that screen if you need to get to that screen. Now, that's my iSet switch. So I'm going to pull and hold that to access the menu. And up here in front of me, here's the menu. Now, use the arrow keys to kind of negotiate through the menu, like up and down. Middle button is how you select something. So it's going to be with some categories, like we have screen settings, warning volume, rear seat reminder, eyesight, RAB, which is reverse automatic braking, SRH, steering responsive headlights, vehicle settings, default settings, and then we have go back to exit. Just to mention, by the way, that there might be some things in this menu that won't be in like your car. Your car might have some things this car doesn't have. Okay, so again, general overview. So best thing to do is play with your car and see what you got. All right, but we're going to dive into the menu. All right, so I'm going to start with screen settings. So I'm going to pull the middle button to select that. Now what I'm doing is I'm dropping from a category into a subcategory, okay? So we have first option says welcome screen. So when you start getting your car, basically there is a welcome screen the car can display, and you can turn it off if you don't want to see that welcome screen. Next we have a goodbye screen. Same thing, when you turn the car off and you're getting out of it, there can be a goodbye screen. If you don't want to see that screen, you can turn it off. All right, gauge initial movement. Now what that is whenever you start the car, like the gauges here, their little things will do like that when you first start the car. If you want to, you can turn that off where the gauges won't do that little thing right there. They'll just go to wherever they need to go and just stop right there. All right, units. I'm gonna go into this one because I believe this is for, yeah. So the car is of course defaulted to miles per hour and gallon, and I can change it to kilometers. You know, kilometers an hour or liters if I was, say, driving in like Canada, for example. Okay, tire pressure units. So tire pressure units can either be PSI, which was what we use in America, or they can be KPA, which is for kilopascals, is what every country in the world except for us uses for tire pressures. Languages. You can change the language of the car. So if you speak French, you could change the car to French. You know, obviously this is something that you're probably not going to change, you know, unless you're in another country. And that's it for that category. So I'm going to hit go back. All right, we'll go to the next one. All right, warning volumes. So you can either make them louder, quieter, you know, or leave them where they're at, which is they're all set to mid by factory default settings, okay? So we'll get out of that. All right, rear seat reminder. A lot of the new Subarus these days are coming with rear seat reminders to remind you to like check that back seat and don't leave a kid. You have the ability to turn that off from that menu right there if it, you know, there's just no use for that right there. Okay, then we have eyesight. So let's go into that one. All right, lead vehicle acquisition sound. Now what that is when I'm using the adaptive cruise control, the cameras for the eyesight technology are looking for cars in front of you. When they see a car, you're going to hear just a beep. It's the car letting you know it sees a car. You can turn that beep off if you don't want that car, your car to beep every time it sees another car. Lead vehicle monitor, moving monitor function. Okay, so what that is, when I'm sitting at let's say I'm sitting at a red light, there's a car in front of me, the light changes green, they go, maybe I'm distracted by something and I'm just not going. The eyesight cameras can see that the car in front of you has moved, and it will give you an audible alert to let you know traffic has moved in front of you and you need to go. You can turn it off if you wanted to. All right, next we have cruise control acceleration characteristics. So when you're using the adaptive cruise control, you might know that when you get behind a car, you slow down, and when you go around them and then it's all clear in front of you, your car is going to accelerate back up to the speed you had it set to. This can actually change how the car accelerates. So every car is set to its level 3 standard. Okay, that's what the factory settings are. Now you're going to have a level 4 dynamic. The way I kind of explain that is hey, it's just going to be aggressive, it's going to go. Okay. Then you have like a level 2, which is comfort, and they have a level 1 echo. I just kind of tell people those are kind of more gradual accelerations, especially in the echo mode. It will try to save some fuel too. All right, lane centering. So a lot of the newer Subarus are equipped with this here, where it's lane keep assist, or it can be lane centering. So I can actually come in here and turn off the lane centering if I don't want to use that, and that can just be lane keep assist only. All right, eyesight assist monitor. Now that's another one that some of the newer Subarus, there'll be some lights that are up here on this dash that can be like displayed for some of the car safety systems. There's like a red, a yellow, and a green. You can turn those lights off from that in there if you, like I just like to say, if you don't want to see the light show going on when you're driving the car. And then after that, I have go back. All right, what's next? So like this car I'm in has RAB, it's the reverse automatic braking, and I can turn off, there's a sonar audible alarm. You can turn it off if you don't want the car to make that alarm noise. I would want that on, that way it could be alerted something's behind me, I might hit something, so I would want to keep that on. All right, now because I'm in a Subaru Ascent, it has the SRH, which is stereo responsive headlights. So you've probably heard of that when you're driving at night and you're turning the wheel. The headlights will pivot with you, and you might see like a deer sooner, like a curve, for example. So you can, again, turn that off from this menu if you want to. I wouldn't do it. Okay, vehicle settings. Now, as it turns out, you can access vehicle settings here, but you can also access them on the touch screen itself. If I go to settings, in the bottom corner, there's vehicle. These settings are over here. They're in 2 places. I prefer to use the touch screen because it's a bit more user-friendly. I always tell people, think of that as a backup in case the touch screen just doesn't work anymore. And I'll tell you what, I'll use the touch screen for this one because, like I said, I like it better, but I'll come back to that in just a second. Let me finish this up. And if you're inactive for a while, it will exit on its own like it just did to me. So let's get back to where I was. Vehicle settings, and then we have at the end default settings. Hitting that will return the car back to its default settings. Pretty simple, right? And then we have go back. That will exit the menu. Okay, so I'm going to use this screen over here for the vehicle settings because I just prefer this more. So like at the top, you have time and date. You can set your car to auto or manual mode. And auto, if you set it to auto mode, the car's clock will try to run off your cell phone. It can also run off a satellite signal as well. Now, if like time changes, like on your cell phone, for example, like you drive into a different time zone, it can change the car's clock for you. So if you have a more like newer cell phone, especially, I would definitely want to have that in the auto mode. The interior light is basically when you turn the car off, the lights inside of here are programmed to stay on for 30 seconds and then they'll go off. You can cut the times down to like 20 seconds, 10 seconds. You can also just turn it off altogether. Under keyless entry system, you have some things in here, and it's going to depend on what kind of car you have. If it's a turnkey or if it's like a key fob. Audible signal, when you lock and unlock the car, it makes a sound. You can turn that off if you want to. Driver door unlock is going to pertain to if you have like a key fob. When I walk up to the car and grab the door handle, it's going to unlock driver door only. It's set that way for safety. But you can make it to where when you grab the door handle on the driver's side, the entire car unlocks for you. Rear gate unlock pertains to on the key fob. If you have a power rear gate, especially, there's a button, of course, you can use to open and close the gate. But you can set it up that when you would also hit that button on the key fob, that it would unlock the car doors as well, besides opening your gate. And hazard warning flasher is basically when you lock and unlock the car, lights blink. You can turn it off if you don't want your lights to blink. Next we have auto door lock and unlock, and you have a setting for locking and unlocking. So for locking, the cars are set to vehicle speed by default. When you drive and hit 13 miles an hour, doors lock. If you do the section where it says shift into out of park, that's basically put her in drive, doors lock right then and there. And off, if you hit that, it will turn the system off. Car does not lock your doors. You will have to hit the button yourself manually to lock doors. Now for unlock, it's set by default to driver door open. So when I open that driver's door over there, the rest of the door is unlocked for passengers. Now you have options there, like I can do it ignition off, like in this car when I would hit the button, or if you're a turn key, when you would turn the key. Shift into our park for this one is just basically put her in park, doors unlock. And you have an off option where the car won't do anything. You would have to hit the button yourself manually. All right, let's go on down the list. Now, defogger is for when I turn on the rear defroster, and of course, if your car is also equipped with it, it can turn on the heated mirrors. They are going to run for 15 minutes, and then they will shut themselves off. Now, when you go into this, you do have an option for continuously, which that's basically what that is those things are just going to keep running until you actually push the button yourself and turn them off. And I frankly don't recommend to people to use continuously because you just might forget about it. Now, welcome lighting is for nighttime, and you have approaching and leaving. Now, a little tip, if you would like to use welcome lighting, over here on the steering wheel, the headlights must be set to auto mode if you want this to work. So what this is, when you're approaching the car at night, now if you actually have to take the key fob out of your pocket for this, if you have one of those key fobs, but when you hit the unlock button, it's going to also unlock your driver's door, and it also, the car will turn the headlights on, and they'll be on for 30 seconds to give you light, and you can have them stay on longer if you need like more time to get to the car. The leaving is the flip side of that. We get out, we lock the car. Same thing. Headlights are on for 30 seconds. You can have them stay on longer if you need more time to like walk to the house. All right, one touch lane changer. So the cars are equipped with this, and by default it will be on, but it tells us the turn signal will flash at least 3 times. Now, if you don't know what a one touch lane changer is, with the turn signals, if I just push it up just slightly, I gotta do a little more. There we go. It blinks 3 times. That's it. If I pull it down slightly, it blinks 3 times, and that's it. It's for a quick lane change. I use that a lot on my car, like on the interstate, for example. But you can turn it off if you say you just don't want to use it. And the last thing on here is the auto light sensor. Now, if your car is equipped with auto lights, there will be a sensor. And it's hard for me to, I can kind of point you to where it generally is. I can't show it to you, but up there in the top, there's a speaker. And there's a little circle. That is the auto light sensor. That's what's measuring light, and it will tell the car when it gets dark, turn on the headlights. Subaru does give you the ability to adjust it, and it will be set to mid by the factory default. Now, one of the things I kind of suggest is if you find yourself driving around the daytime and maybe you drive under an overpass and the car suddenly turns the headlights on because it thought it was dark, the sensor could be a little set to a little too high, and you could turn it down to fix that. If it does happen, low is kind of what I like to recommend to people, to set it to that. And wiper link is a feature that I wish my car had. That's the next car goal for me. Just to mention it, what that is, it's for the daytime when you're driving around and you turn on the windshield wipers after they've operated a few times. The car will realize it's raining. It turns on the headlights, and when you are turn the wipers back off, the car will realize it stopped raining and it turns the headlights back off. You just have to also make sure your headlights over here are set to auto mode if you would like for that to work. You do have the option to turn it off, but I frankly wouldn't do that because a lot of states have that as a state law, that if you're driving and you have your windshield wipers on, you must have your headlights on. So that's a great feature. Subaru's got you covered for the daytime if your state, of course, has that law. So there you go. There's a dive into the iSet switch menu. If you stuck around and watched that entire video, I really do appreciate it, because there's a lot in that menu that you can actually kind of fool with in there and stuff. But so I definitely appreciate it if you made it this far. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and ring that bell. That way you know when I'm posting new content. I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That is my goal for 2023. So if you could subscribe, I would really appreciate that. And if you have a question about your Subaru, maybe there's something you're wondering about, you can do what Travis and Brandy did. Leave a comment in the comment section below this video, and who knows, I might make a video about this. So thanks so much, and we'll catch you next time.